Hello, it's Book Quote Wednesday and the word is morning. Today I'm reading from my space opera novel PHOENICIA'S Worlds. While it waits for the starship Phoenicia to complete its 40-year mission to reopen contact with Earth, the colony world of La Nueva Temporada is slowly sliding into chaos, environmental catastrophe, political dictatorship. My young anti-hero Quin is on his way with a select squad of shock troops to arrest the Planetary Director, who also happens to be his father. The Ridgie bumped down 30 seconds later. Cold, dry, rock-smelling air flooded into my nostrils as the hatch cracked open. Squad B, go, David barked. He stood by the hatch, fanning 10 of the volunteers on their way. Squad B's job was to secure the back door of the villa in case the director tried to make a run for it. Squad A with me. Senor Mateo, sir? He looked hopefully at me and glanced significantly at a chair. Earlier on, he had made it quite clear that in his opinion, his TOs could handle this. I was the boss, I was the mastermind, but he knew how well I could fight, and I should just safely sit in the Ridgie until they brought my father back. Thank you, I said, and jumped down to the ground. I pretended not to see his look of irritation. Lead on. Squad A with me, he muttered. We set off at a brisk jog through the ankle-deep snow. Below a powdery surface, it was frozen hard and it crunched beneath us. The tennis court was on a flat terrace cut from the hillside. On one side, it dropped sharply down towards the town. On the other, there was a steep bank a couple of metres high, with steps up to the driveway. The driveway had also been cut out of the hill at this point, and the ground continued to rise sharply above on the other side. The villa lay to our left at the end of the drive. Squad B was to our right. They would cross the driveway and the raised ground behind it and approach the villa from the other side. We were heading for the main entrance. There was a strange movement at the corner of my eyes. What the? David exclaimed. Squad B had all taken it into their heads to have a lie down. And then the boy next to me gasped and suddenly dropped flat on his face. 2 more followed suit. I stopped and stared at them. Run! David bellowed. He grabbed my collar and yanked hard. I stumbled forward and our little squad charged towards the embankment. I had a fleeting glimpse of figures on the high ground on the other side of the drive, clasped hands held in front of them and pointing at us. And then there was solid rock between us and them, and the stunner fire couldn't reach us. I swore and glanced back at the Ridgie. A trail of 5 or 6 slumbering bodies marked our passage. But I had checked, and double-checked. I wanted to scream. Rio Lento had no army or any kind of security force. The constabulary were based down in the valley, and they couldn't have got up here in the time available, so who the hell were these people? Now I could hear the stunners. Our crunching footsteps had marked the distinctive buzz of the discharges. It was a strange experience. I almost felt that being fired at by projectile weapons would be preferable. At least then you would feel you were being honestly shot at. Bullets cracking through the air, ricochets bursting off the rock in front of your nose. This is probably not an opinion shared by anyone who has actually been through that experience, but it rankled that we were cowering from nothing more than a distant swarm of insects. Those 30 years in jail suddenly seemed a lot closer. Throw your guns up onto the road, called a voice. Then stand up nice and slow with your hands on your heads. Oh, Christ, I don't believe it, I exclaimed. David looked at me oddly. You want us to fight it out, senor? No, stay down here, all of you. I filled my lungs, then raised my head as far as it could go without being exposed. Ilo, I want to talk to you. There was a silence. Who's that? The voice shouted. It's hard to put suspicion into a shout, but he managed it. Quin. Quin who? I grit my teeth. Joaquin Mateo. A longer pause. Never. Prove it. David grabbed my hand to stop me getting up. I gently plucked his fingers away. I wasn't going anywhere without guarantees. If you like, I called, you can just call me Spawn. No reply. Can I talk to you, please, without being shot? Okay, Spawn, stand up where I can see you. David grabbed me again. Again, I had to pry myself free. Very slowly, very reluctantly, I stood up. A bulky figure rose slowly into the skyline above me. I clambered up to the drive, he just as cautiously descended, and then we stood face to face. I pushed my hood back to give him a good look at me. Well, well, he said. He was the one thing in Rio Lento that didn't look smaller. Still just as big, still just as much of a swagger. All that had changed was the badge he wore. Apparently, he was now captain of Rio Lento. Homesick already? I shook my head. We're here to arrest my father, I said. He nodded slowly. He thought someone might try that. I was seeing where the unexpected opposition had come from. So he moved the constabulary up here, didn't he? I said through my teeth. Yep. Didn't think it would be you, though. I'm disappointed. Didn't you think I had it in me? I didn't think you'd try an obvious trick like the not remote-controlled Ridgie. How stupid do you think we are? An unscheduled Ridgie flight comes to Rio Lento. Well, gee, that's a tough one. I carefully kept a poker face. So, are you going to let us pass? I asked. His grin got wider. Nope. Are you going to surrender? It felt strange talking to him like this. Previously, as the son of his boss, it had always been that he gave, I took. Now I could no longer demand services from him by right. I had to earn his favour. Sorry I didn't write to congratulate you on your promotion, I said, with a nod at his badge. I pulled my hood back up. I suppose it's as much as Rio Lento is going to give you. Let me worry about my own future, Spawn, he said. You've got enough to worry about on your own. I strolled theatrically to the edge of the driveway. I could see David at my feet, staring up at me as if I was mad. He held his gun up with an obvious question on his face. Can I shoot him now? I shook my head and looked out over the town. It's spring, Arlo, I said. The fields should be busy. I looked down at the snowy wasteland. Where is everyone? We switched from crops 2 years ago, he said slowly. It's Myco now, indoor production. Ah, Myco, I agreed. Can't remember the last time I had that. Breakfast this morning was ham and eggs, fresh rolls, and some good, strong black market coffee. Which wasn't outright lying. He patted his mouth in a polite yawn. There a point to all this? Rio Lento's got 10 years max, I said, and that was the honest truth. I just hadn't realised it without seeing the place first. Half the population have moved to APRA already. Most of them are resettled in zones that hardly even see so. I pointed into the valley. The glacier used to be at least 3 metres below the bridge. Now it's almost up to the base. And what about you? You can't last forever, Ilo. You're not young anymore. What are you going to do when your turn at APRA comes up? You won't be captain there. I heard about your own fancy outfit, he said, measuring each word. It sounds like a good ticket. Maybe I'll look at that. Except that it's my force, as you point out. He opened his mouth. I held up a hand. And a whole lot of my friends are lying unconscious in the snow there. You won't be a popular man, and believe me, Ilo, in APRA you need friends if you want to maintain your lifestyle. You so badly do not want to be just another evac. No possessions, no privileges, and no protection if the volunteers decide not to protect you. A lot of scores get settled at APRA. It's a very equal sort of place. And you have a solution to this? He said, sounding very bored. Let us pass, Ilo. Then apply for the resets. There's a whole lot of positions for a tier of your experience and talents. I'll give you the pick of them. A section commander gets 30 grand and as many additional benefits as he can manage. I heard a squawk of protest from the direction of my feet. You'll be set up for a life on a collective somewhere if you like, I said. And best of all, you'll have the friendship of a rising star in the government of our fair planet. And that would be you. None other. We held each other's gaze and I could see the wheels turning. All the time I had been at Rio Lento, he had been investing the time and effort in buying my favour, the special treatment, the offered introductions to various adult experiences. Now I hoped and prayed he would decide his investment had matured. Ilo slowly tucked his gun away in its holster, then opened his coat far enough to tug a tablet from an inner pocket. I had no idea what he was doing, but I was obviously expected to watch. He turned it on and entered something with grand, showman-like gestures. No, he murmured at what he saw. He was deliberately drawing it out to make me squirm. And no, not that one. Then his eyebrows rose slowly. Maybe. No. A pause. Yes. He flipped the tablet round so I could see it. I'll take this one. It was a job vacancy. Section commander of the resets at the Okoa Chemical Processing Post. Equatorial, a direct ring rail link to Ulti, and its manufacturing capacity would open up black market opportunities that could make a man salivate. Ilo would go through it like a knife. I sighed. Okay, I'll get that one. Show me. I produced my own tablet, called up the ad, gave it my personal endorsement. It beeped. Accepted. I showed it to him. Congratulations, Section Commander Bast. He stepped back and with a sweeping gesture indicated that the way into the villa was wide open. Last time I saw him, about 20 minutes ago, your father was in the study, he said. Remember, you can buy my books at www.benjeeps.com. See you next time.